So today I want to talk to you about the idea of practice and practicing being in our power. And this is the fourth time I've, I've gone to make this. The first time I didn't, somehow it didn't save. The second time was this morning at the land, and it was so beautiful that I was so captivated by the land that I was more talking about the land than practice. The third time I don't really know. I was like, blah, 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 blah. And so here I am again. So I am getting practice, making videos talking about practice. Um, so I know that you're all familiar with the idea of practice. And so I'm just wondering, where does your mind go when you know this video is about practice? Do you think, oh yeah, I know this? Or do you think, I wonder what else I can see about practice in my life that I could try and test out? I believe that most of us are not aware of what we're practicing, and even when we are aware of what we're practicing, not all of the time. So there's always scope for more clarity and conscious awareness around practicing. And for me, when I'm talking about practicing, it's on two levels. The first one is at a level of thought. Am I practicing being from my inner being, or am I practicing being from the 3-year-old? And then the second practice is around action. What are the actions that I'm taking? And the reason I make this distinction, thank you, is because I believe that we can take the same action with a totally different energy and it will create a completely different outcome. So an example of that would have been, for me, when I was staying with my parents in the time of my life where I decided on some level it would be fun to practice being powerless. I was very committed to it. A lot of forcing and efforting and pushing. And one of the areas in my life that I really could not make work was money. I couldn't get enough money together to be able to go and get my own place, and I really wanted to have my own place. And what I can see when I look back is no matter the actions I was taking, the outcome was always really limited, because fundamentally I was coming from fear and scarcity and thinking that I wasn't enough. And contrasting that with my journey around creating money now, and I come from completely different energies. And so when I was living with my parents, I was very much at effect. I kept looking at the outside world, thinking that if it was just to change, then I would be okay. Whereas now it's much more, it's happening at cause. And I noticed that by being with thoughts like, I am enough, there is more than enough, and coming from love and possibility and abundance, I'm so much more relaxed, which means that I'm fine if people choose it and I'm fine if people don't. And that would have been something that if you had said that to me years ago, I'd have been thinking, are you crazy? And so the difference now is I'm looking at the cause, I'm looking at who am I being at cause here. And of course, power and practice, this idea is, of course, we're going to go in and out of being in our power and being not in our power. It's just part of the game of life, right? So, and I'm wondering, are you clear what energies you are when you are in your power? And if you're not, I really invite you to slow down and don't write a list that's got 27,000, but really just to refine it into a few. Who are you energetically when you are in your power? How do you feel? I remember a great question my coach had asked me, and we were talking about something that was going on for me in my business. And he said to me, if you just been on Oprah, you were considered one of the top 10 coaches in the world. How do you even know? But anyway, and you had £1 million in the bank, what would you choose here? Like that, I could tell him, because I got out of my head and it connected me with my power. And so I would really invite you, maybe that's a question for you to play with, or maybe there's something similar for you. You know, if you knew it was going to be okay and actually it was going to work out even better than you could imagine, what would you choose to do next? And so for me, there's also something that is a lot kinder and softer to the idea of practicing being in my power than being in my power, because practicing is completely within my control. Like being in my power is the result of the practice. Um, and I also really love the idea of you can't have an unhappy journey with a happy ending. And so the idea of practice makes it about the journey and not the destination, because really our destinations are just pit stops. And even, you know, I can be in my power to the best that I can today. It's like in 5 years time, who knows what I'll be saying, but it's just about this practicing and practicing and practicing. And so I just invite you to look at a time in your life where you know you've not been in your power. Contrast that with a time in your life where you have been in your power. Think about the different energies, and then if it's fun and it would be useful for you, begin to consciously and intentionally practice like an energy. Because of course what we're looking for is that these practices just become second nature. All of us know how to brush our teeth, right? It's like, but there was a time, you know, with my niece, she's 3, and it's like she's still mastering it. She thinks she just sook the toothpaste off the toothbrush. And so let's get clear about what we're practicing.